I'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Ankur Shah, meanwhile, is with us. Ankur, global markets are nervous, as we were talking about. The main factors, of course, looming is the U.S. presidential election. What are your thoughts on how either win of the candidate could impact global equities and hence India?
I think what's happened is basically coming in the run-up to the election, essentially Clinton was heavily favored and Trump was a long shot. And I think that was kind of what was being discounted into the market as a whole. And now that it's gone from kind of being a long shot to a low probability to a little bit of a higher probability, I think you're seeing that being discounted into the market overall. And so I think as Trump gains in the polls, you'll probably see increasing volatility until we basically get to election day.
So, Ankur, in that case, the global jitters, which even the Wall Street is facing, how the tightly contested race for the White House mean for Indian markets? How low can we fall if indeed the outcome is not as desired by the market?
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that point. I think they're definitely not going to hike ahead of the election. So I think everyone's waiting now for the December meeting. And I think because none of this, and Trump win really hasn't been discounted into global markets and the U.S. market in particular, I think you will see her probably hold off in December if Trump does come into power. I think there should be a heightened volatility and definitely potential of a big sell-off essentially.
Right. Ankur, let's talk about the India piece. And, how sharp could this correction be here for us, given the global uncertainty that's looming? Do you suspect that we could go back to, say, Brexit-type levels, or do you think that there is a floor in place for the Nifty?
It's always different. I mean, I can't really forecast short-term market movements, but I do think, that the market is a discounting mechanism, and to the extent that people are not expecting a Trump win in November, and I think the fact that he's increasing in the polls, and you're seeing, as kind of the Mexican peso weakens, you're seeing a lot of kind of risk-off trade going on because his lead is increasing in the polls. And so I think there could be a big short-term movement. It's hard to say depending on what the outcome is of the election, essentially. So I think as an investor, you should be prepared. But I would think longer term, it should be okay, as the Indian story is kind of self-contained at this point. And it shouldn't really matter who's in the White House ultimately if you have a longer-term time frame.
Ankur, for the first time since February, FIs have turned sellers in the market.